हरे कृष्ण। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। हरे कृष्ण। So we're discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 11. So Rahugana, he gave very nice logical reasons for the way he behaved, and it looks very right. And this is actually what modern people, not modern people, uh, the people who are following dharma, they also have the similar type of understanding. And what Rahugana makes sense also. See, I'm a king, I should behave like a king. And I am supposed to take care of my subjects. And sometimes I need to punish them also. So, what is my behavior? What is wrong in my behavior? So, now Jadabharat is going to take Rahugana to next level of understanding, the higher state of consciousness. We should also, by the end of this chapter, at least theoretically, we should know that this is the way we should think, not in terms of dharma adharma, but this is something more higher. So, this is very important. And this should be understood the way Jadabharat is teaching us. So, Jadabharat's, we are attending the seminar from directly Jadabharat. So, retreat from Jadabharat. So, first thing he does is he will give chastisement. My dear king, although you are not at all experienced, you are trying to speak like a very experienced man. Consequently, you cannot be considered an experienced person. An experienced person does not speak the way you are speaking about the relationship between master and servant or about material plane and pleasures. These are simply external activities. Any advanced, experienced man, considering the absolute truth, does not talk in this way. So, this is the first chastisement he got. So, Prabhupada is telling similarly, among people in general, 99.9% try to talk like experienced advisors, but they're actually devoid of spiritual knowledge. Therefore, like inexperienced children speaks nonsensically. That is the reason we are not so much interested in hearing the opinion of all these so-called celebrities. They don't know anything. Why should be they taken seriously? And even the people who are practicing something, we don't take their opinion seriously until it is having a reference from scriptures. This is a very important point we all should make note. Until any reference from scripture, can't take the what do you say, information seriously. This is basically philosophical information. So this philosophical information we cannot take seriously. Like so many people in YouTube here there, they speak on philosophy, but you don't give any reference. It is not absolute philosophy. That is the problem. See, it is going to work for some time for some people for some uh, situations, but it is not for everything. But when it comes to Bhagavatam or any Shastra, you are giving reference from Shastra, then we can accept it. And that is complete knowledge. So that is not a problem. Like many books within ISKCON also devotees are writing. They write their own understandings. We don't have problem, but we should also know that it is not complete. That should be very clear. They may write their understanding on Bhagavad Gita, their understanding. We'd say, okay, your understanding, but what is the reference for it? In the reference, you start elaborating it, that's not a problem. That should be there in Shastra somewhere. And you elaborate and you make it understand. Like, say, now we are taking this purport. What we are doing, we are trying to elaborately understand this purport. We are not going beyond this. That means this is the reference we have. So for anything, if we are taking any books or anything, we should have a proper reference from the other shastras to back up. Like if you take Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami makes any point, immediately gives four references from the shastras. He made a certain statement. Now, to prove it, he has to give references. Otherwise, it will be his opinion. So, any of the Acharya Shastras, like Jiva Goswami's all the Sandarbhas, he is making so many statements, but based on Shastra only. He is not writing his opinions. That is how we should take it. Otherwise, all these books we read, we get something, but it will not be complete. It is good information. Why? Okay, we may argue, Prabhuji, it is helping only, na? If you read such books where there is no reference from the Shastras, you may argue it is helping. But the point is, it will help. So I'll talk on this faith aspect now. It helps to some extent, but it will not help us to develop Shastra Shraddha, which is the most important thing. So these words cannot be given any importance for materialistic people. Even devotees' words also, if it is no reference, cannot be given any value. They should be backed up by some acharyas. Somebody should be there, backup. So based on that, because our knowledge is in parampara only. There is nothing wrong in repeating somebody else. That is the best way to do. Evam parampara praptam. We need not be ashamed to quote, oh, this is what I took from this Acharya, this Maharaj. That is not at all a problem. If you don't have reference, that is a problem. then, then that will be mental speculation. And we don't want mental speculation. That is a jnani plan. Ours is bhakti. Bhakti is, we just repeat. And if you see, when Vidra is asking, Sukadeva Goswami, Sonaka Rishi are asking Suta Goswami. Suta Goswami is referring to Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami conversation. Sukadeva Goswami is referring to Maitreya Vidra conversation. And Maitreya is referring to the conversation between Sanat Kumar and Sankarshan. And he is referring to the conversations. So like that, then it comes to Parashar Muni, and then it comes to Maitreya, like that. So they are telling, I am repeating what I heard. So nobody is speaking what they heard. It is a repetition only. So not a problem. If you don't repeat, that is a problem. Now, I am going to tell this. What is the important aspect is when we have reference and when we hear. What is the difference is if we have a reference and we are hearing good information. First is with reference. Second is without reference. So with reference now we develop Shastra Shraddha. So this is the most important thing we need. Here only it is Laukiki Shraddha. Or at the best Shraddha on that person who gave that knowledge. Ultimately, when I am speaking, I am referring to that person and speaking. I put on faith on that person. So, if it is Acharya like Prabhupada, we say Prabhupada said. That means we are putting faith on whom? Prabhupada. You are understanding the difference? Then we Acharyas, no problem. Shastra, no problem. So only two references we have, Acharyas and Shastras. And we may quote devotees, like Maharaja said this. That is also not problem because they are very elevated. But otherwise, we will not have in Shastra. I will just give few things on this aspect of the faith. So Krishna tells in 3.4.39, Shraddhavan labate jnanam tatpara samyatendriya and ajnascha shraddadhanasya. So here, the best of all authoritative scriptures is Bhagavad Gita. And there are actually three categories of people fail to attain spiritual progress. Those who do not know the scriptures, those who know the scriptures but do not believe their content, those who believe but doubt, the most unfortunate. So this is the three categories. So that is the point I wanted to add here. I'll just so this is the point. Those who know, those who know but does not believe, they have doubt. So follow the instructions of sacred good faith. Walk in the footsteps of Acharyas in the chain of spiritual teachers. So without reference, we don't take anything. So no need to spend your money and purchase books from the authors who don't give any reference. Waste of time. Because you may get faith, but not Shastra Shraddha. So same time, if you invest on books which are giving references from the Shastras and written, if you read them, you get the spiritual understanding what Shastra want to give. See, everyone has faith. So a atheist also have faith. He has faith that God does not exist. It is uh, reasonable to build faith on unproven premises. However, this question itself resists on another unproven premise that there is no God. So both belief in God and does not believe in God, both require faith. No one can prove that God does not exist, and no one can prove that God exists. So both are based on faith only, right? So this is actually what Krishna is trying to explain in the 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So every person built their life on some faith. The question is not whether one have faith, but the faith where it is placed. So there actually the problem starts. We are putting faith on person. So we have to put faith on the Shastras. It should not be Laukik Shraddha. Now, two premises compared. Like say, this is actually what Prabhupada's argument is. Very nice argument. It will help in your preaching. I'll just repeat. If one accepts the premises that God exists, life is built on higher principles and values, one leads to pure life, causing minimal harm. If God does not exist, nothing is lost. But if we build premises and does not exist, then now presently what is happening in the world, everything is happening. Now, this word Shraddha and Sukha and then uh, Samasya, that is doubt. So they are the three things to be understood and the obstacles. Agnyascha ashraddhanasya samshayatma vinishyati. So maybe in this chapter we'll try to elaborate. This is some other things, but there is some more important things which Jadabat is going to tell. We'll come to that point. Just I want to tell that don't waste your time in reading something which is not having reference. So that is the first thing. Because that knowledge is not complete. That is the point. My dear king, talks of the relationship between the master and servant, the king and the subject, or so forth, are simply talks about material activity. So this is the first point which Jadabarth is telling, and this is what we have to understand. So the talk is material activities. People interested in material activities which are compounded in the Vedas are intent on performing material sacrifices and placing faith in. So this is all about faith only in this chapter. So placing faith in their material activities. For such people, spiritual advancement is definitely not manifested. So where we are putting faith. So and we discussed Vedavadarata Partha Nanetasthiti Vadinaha. Interestingly, Krishna is telling, Arey, don't take this Veda seriously. This is actually, this verse is telling that only. Reject these Vedas. Then what we should do? That's why I say, the followers of Vedas are generally inclined to Karma Kanda. The performance of sacrifices according to Vedic injunction. Now here, we are so much propagating Sanatan Dharma. And in the same Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling reject the Vedas. They are thereby promoted to higher planetary system. They generally practice Chaturmasya system. So here some of the followers of Vedas are attached to Karma Kanda, fruitive activities, to promote to uh, the higher standards. Other argue that that is not the purpose of Vedas. Tat yataiveha karma jitaha loka kshiyate evam utra punya jita loka kshiyate. So in this world, someone may become highly elevated by taking birth in an aristocratic family, by being well educated, beautiful, or rich. These are the gifts of our pious activities enacted in the past life. However, these will be finished when the stock of pious activity is finished. If we become attached to pious activity, we may get these various worldly facilities in next life. But all this will again have to come to this Mrityaloka. So, Chide Punye Mrityalokam Vashanti. So, according to Vedic injunctions, performance of pious activities not really the objective of Vedas. The objective of Vedas is Vedaisti Sarve Ahameva Vedyo. So even Vedas, they are not understood properly. The people who are fighting for Sanatana Dharma and all this, the problem is Advaita Acharya, when he was praying for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come, what was the problem? They are all following Vedas only that time. The problem is they are not understanding which part of the Vedas properly follow. What did Shankaracharya do? He brought all the Vedas back. But what was the problem? They are taking a Jnana part of it. Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya has to come and tell, this is not the way to practice Vedas. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Udupi, they were all practitioners of Vedic culture only, whole South India. And when he went to Udupi, Tattvavadis, they are properly following Vedas. Prabhupada said, you are following the external structure, Varnashrama and all. You forgot the essence. So same thing here. The essence should be understood. Those who are Vedavadas are not actually advanced in knowledge. So not just because you are Sanatani, all these things, does not make any sense here. When one comes to the platform of Upasana and accept the worship of Supreme Lord, he becomes perfect. So in the Vedas, the worship of different demigods and performance sacrifice are certainly mentioned, but such worship is inferior because the worshipper do not know that the ultimate goal is Vishnu. Nate vidu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. So, the otherwise, as indicated in Bhagavad Gita, one is not a Tattvavadi, but a Vedavadi, is blind follower of Vedic injunction. He is very seriously Krishna. Actually, interestingly, what is the problem? Krishna explains in second chapter for Arjuna. This is very helpful. What Krishna is telling Arjuna, the main problem for you, Arjuna, is because you are hearing too much. That is the problem. And from where you are hearing? You are hearing from Vedas. That is the problem. And for us also the problem is same only. What we are doing, we are also hearing. But what we are hearing, we are not hearing Vedas. Na? But where is our problem? Our problem is advertisements. Previously, Vedas used to advertise. Now, television and internet, they are advertising. So, in both places, there is a problem. What is the problem? Vyavasayatmika buddhi cannot happen only. One pointed attention to worship Krishna, to focus on Krishna, that is not happening because you are hearing too much. If you are hearing from Vedas, we will be attracted. Vedavada. So this is actually the point. You see, here very clearly mentioned. Vedavadas cannot be purified from material contamination unless they become Tattvavadi. That is one who knows Tattva, the absolute truth. Tattva is also explained three features that so Bahuram Janmanamante Jnanamam after many births one actually knows in knowledge surrenders to Krishna. So here when Krishna is telling Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, people say one pointed attention. One pointed attention, how will we come? When we are not affected by what is heard. That's what Krishna is telling. If you should not get affected by what you are hearing. But we advertisements and all, how we get affected? Because we switch off the buddhi. So that is why we get affected because of these things, and then we get carried away. So no focus. Vyavasayatmika. So buddhi. So this one pointed attention is not possible if you are hearing. Even from Vedas also it will not work. We have to hear properly from Bhakti scriptures, from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the only way. And that's now here Ravagada's problem was same thing. He was so much hearing from Vedas and he wanted to follow it. And then Jadbharat is telling that is not the way you should hear Vedas. I am going to teach you. This is the way you should hear. And first thing he says, a dream becomes automatically known to a person as false and immaterial, and similarly one eventually realizes that material happiness in this life or next on this planet or a higher planet is insignificant. When one realizes this, the Vedas, although an excellent source, are insufficient to bring about direct knowledge of the truth. You see, Vedas cannot bring. So when one realizes the Vedas, although an excellent source, so here also Jadabharati is rejecting, are insufficient to bring about direct knowledge of the truth. You're understanding? So same thing Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna advised Arjuna to become transcendental to material activities impelled by the three modes of nature, Traigunya Vishaya Veda. So he's saying Vedas. Nistraigunya Bhavaja. The purpose of Vedic study is to transcend the activities of three modes. So the Vedas are only within the three modes. But we need some things which are beyond. So some literatures which are beyond the three modes are Bhagavatam. There we have to take shelter. Of course, in the material world, mode of goodness is accepted as best. One can be promoted to higher planetary systems by being on the Sattuguna platform. However, that is not perfection. One must come to the conclusion that even Sattuguna platform is also not good. This is the point. So now the Rahugana or the Sanatanis and all, they are very much interested in Sattuguna. But Bhagavatam rejects Sattuguna. One may dream that he has become king with a good family, wife, children, but immediately at the end of the dream, he comes to the conclusion that it is false. Similarly, all kinds of material happiness are undesirable for a person who wants spiritual salvation. If a person does not come to the conclusion that he has nothing to do with any kind of material happiness, he cannot come to the platform of understanding absolute truth or tattva jnana. So this is the important point. So you may be having a good family. Jadabarth is telling you may be having a good wife, good children, good husband, good house, beautiful body. It is a dream. Jadabarth is so clear about it. So he is telling all kinds of material happiness are undesirable only for a person who want to attain. That's why Nishkinchananam. So Namo Akinchana Vittaya Nivritta Guna Vittaye Atma Ramaya Shantaya Kaival. Why Lord is Akinchana Vittaya or So they don't want to enjoy material things, even though they may have facilities. Why Yudhishthir Maharaj left his kingdom after fighting so much and he got a kingdom very nice? He could have stayed for 100, 200 years. But 36 years and he left. As soon as he came to know Krishna left, he left. He did not stay much. Why? Because he didn't want to enjoy material things. For us, success is how many medals we got, how much name we got, how many comforts we have, what type of house we have, and in the house, how many comforts are there, what type of car, that is counted. See, we need some basic facilities that we are not denying. But beyond that, we should not spend our energy in comforts and all. You may have some talent because of which you are able to make some money and some pious credits are there because of which you may be getting something. But it should not be aspiration. It should not be desired. This is okay, let it come. If comes, comes. Otherwise, no, no problem. And it is safe. We should not, it is undesirable. If a person does not come to the conclusion that he has nothing to do with any kind of mental happiness, he cannot come to the platform of understanding absolute. So we, because of mode of passion, we calculate success as material happiness. So immediately our appreciation comes. Oh, he has a good house, he has this, he has that. If you are in Sattuguna, there also some material appreciation will be there. But when a person comes to transcendent, his appreciation on the different platform only because his taste is different. Like say, now a person likes music and all. So when he goes to attend some kirtan or anything, immediately he can appreciate the mridanga player, the harmonium player, the singers, the chorus or other kartal. He knows who is playing nicely and who is very expert at it and who is matching with them, everything. Tala, this, that, everything he will very clearly observe and he can release also and he will appreciate also. But somebody in passion who is not so much into music and all, he may not, he will say, oh, good music, but he don't know, he cannot know it. The taste is different. For us also, devotee, like, no, I went and met one saintly person. So immediately we can see, wow, this is very great personality. Now, how he is able to chant, how he is getting so much taste in the holy name, whole day is sitting and is not affected by what is happening around in the world. So that should be our appreciation. Not that, oh, somebody came in a big car and no nice facilities and all. or even material. Oh, he's in charge of this, he's a temple president, he is this, he is that. So all these things should not affect us. What should affect is, who is doing more bhajan? Know, who is very good in sitting and reading Bhagavatam? Who is good in sitting and chanting the holy name, doing kirtan, serving the deities with proper consciousness? They are absorbed in it. So that's what. If you hear His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj lectures, uh, his God brothers comes and he's appreciating them. What he's appreciating? He does not appreciate. Oh, he is the in charge of this temple for these many years. He is this, he is that. No, he appreciates the dedication they have for Prabhupada mission. That means internal things is appreciating. The dedication, the devotion, the love they have for Prabhupada. Because that is only counted when we want to go to spiritual world. That's when we are leaving our body. Others won't count only. How many external book, how many books I distributed, how many did I this, that will not be counted only. Na? See, they are needed to get our absorption in the holy name. For that only. So the karmis work hard day and night for some bodily comforts. Jnanis simply speculate about how to get out of the entanglement of karma, merge into Brahman. The yogis are very much addicted to acquisition of material perfection. See, these three tendencies we all have. Don't think that this is about karmis, jnanis. This is actually about us only. See how many of them have this desire to have bodily comforts, work day and night. They are having their jobs and they are investing. So bodily comforts is there. And get out of the entanglement of karma. This is so much is there. How many we most of us want to get free from suffering. And this is what success. Everybody want to be successful. Materially, some success should be there. Free from suffering is anyway there. And no, people ask, oh, how to overcome this, how to overcome that pain, this pain. Everything is you have to overcome pain. Whether there is a guarantee that I'll go back home, back to God. If this question comes, this is also jnana tendency only. Will I ever go back home, back to God? Once in a while, it is okay. If every day you are asking this question, then that is not correct. Because here the tendency is what? You are interested in getting free from this world. But our question should be, this question is okay. It should not be everyday question. Everyday question is, what is the everyday question? How can I serve Krishna and Guru? So this should be our everyday question. That is a devotee. This is a jnana mentality. This is devotee mentality. So when we go to Guru, Prabhupada never asked Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, will I go back home, back to Godhead? What is the question Prabhupada asked Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur? How can I serve you? You're understanding? So anytime the devotees meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all, they ask the same thing. How can I serve you? We serve, whether we'll go back home, back to Godhead, it is in the hand of Krishna. We have a desire to go back home, back to God. That is for sure. But that should not be the motivation. Motivation is I want to please Guru and Krishna. So otherwise it's all jnana tendency. Every time asking, will I go back home, back to God? Will Array, just think on serving Krishna and Guru. Let them decide what will happen to you. Wherever Prabhupada is there, he will take you. No, you serve him continuously. Where will serve? What is the problem? No. Narayana para sarve na kutasya na vidyate. Swargapavarga narakeshu apitulyartha darshan. That is our standard. Devotees of Krishna, Lord Shiva is telling, wherever they are, they does not mind only. They are in heaven, hell, everywhere. They are only Narayana Parayana. They are completely absorbed in Narayana, serving him. So that is our state. So we should not so much bother about this. Will I miss the bus? No need of discussing on that. You just serve. You ask question, how can I serve? What? So that's everything will take care. Yogis are very much addicted to acquisition of material perfection and mystic powers. So this is also there. We want to the what do you say? Yoga tendency is there. They want to perfect in mridanga, perfect in this, perfect in that. Somewhere we want to perfect in dressing the deity. These all yogi tendencies. All are trying to be materially perfect, but devotee very easily come to the platform of nirguna and devotional service, and consequently for the devotee, the result of karma, jnana, and yoga becomes very insignificant. Therefore, only the devotee in the platform of tattva jnana, not the others. Of course, the jnani's position is better than that of the karmi, but the position is also insufficient. The jnani must actually become liberated, and after liberation, he may be situated in service. Mad bhakta alabhate, mad bhakti. So, this is every verse, na, there is so much to be discussed, but we have to cover the syllabus. यावन्मनोरजसा पुरुषस्य सत्त्वेन वा तमसि वा अनुरुद्धम् चेतोभिराकूतिभिरातनोति निरङ्कुशं कुशलं चेतरं वा. As long as the mind of the living entity is contaminated by the three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, ignorance, his mind is exactly like an independent, uncontrolled elephant. It simply expands its jurisdiction of pious and impious activity by using senses. The result is that the living entity remains in the material world to enjoy and suffer pleasure and pain due to material activity. Very important lesson. See what it is telling, living entity is contaminated. When it is contaminated, what happens? Contamination means we want to be independent, uncontrolled. That's why bhakti does not start until bhakti does not start until we surrender to person. This is for sure. Bhakti Rasam Sindhu, first five principles are for Guru only. Ado Guru Padashray. That's how the bhakti starts. Because bhakti is a personal process. Krishna is a person. We have to deal with a person. We have to please somebody else. Then only we can be free from. So the contamination is reducing means more and more we are dependent on the person. More and more we want to serve the person, not for us. If we are not focused on Guru and Krishna, then we'll be focused on wife, husband, and children, which is ultimately going to bring us to this material world only. So this is how the formula works. If not focused on mission of Guru, then our focus will be where? Wife, husband, children, house, job, and ultimately what it will lead? Material existence. This is sure. This is nothing, this is not rocket science. Very simple to understand. Yam yam bhav is param bhavam. Wherever your bhava is there, you'll end up there only. So what is so difficult to understand this? We have to have Guru's mission. But Prabhupada, even though he was in Grihastha ashram, is always meditating on how to assist Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. And if you see how much he did for Gaudiya Math when he was in Grihastha ashram, he started Mumbai center preaching. He started preaching in Prayag. So he preached so many places. And whenever he was getting opportunity, he was preaching and trying to assist the mission. And after that, he took it full time serving his Guru's mission. That's all. And that was the perfection of life. And for us also, the perfection of life is that only, because Krishna is a person. We can directly serve Krishna, but problem is we don't have that consciousness. That's why we have to go through Guru. We have to accept some person whom we were focused, dedicated, serve him. That's all. Then we are fit to, because we are absorbed in that person. Even interestingly, say, even if the person, like say, Prabhuji, my Guru Maharaj, he gave initiation, but now I am not able to, the knowledge and all I am taking from somebody else. Say, you are having so many other sikshas, here, there. But ultimately, the result should be for Guru only. Say, for example, the child has a father. Now, his father gives some limited knowledge. The child is going to college, he's learning from so many other teachers, he's getting a job, he's earning. Ultimately, he has to come and give money back to the father only. Because the father cannot be changed for his son, for the boy. He has to please the father. Similarly, for us also, we may have initiation taken from a guru, but ultimately we have to offer all our results to that person, guru only. He should be pleased. Then only we can perfect our life. So in our group also we have very nice examples. Like we have Champaklata Mataji, very missionary spirit. She has so much dedication, and like we have many devotees because you all know her. She does preaching in blind children and orphanages here, there, juvenile places. So that is actually the mission. So that is where is the absorption now? Pleasing Guru. So definitely that will help us to cut these things. So Chaitanya Charitamrita, it said material pious and impious principles of devotional service. Devotional service means mukti, freedom from material entanglement. But pious and impious activities results in material entanglement within the material world. If mind is captivated by pious and impious activities mentioned in the Vedas, one remains eternally in darkness. One cannot attain the absolute platform. To change the consciousness from ignorance to passion, from passion to goodness, does not really solve the problem. Sagunan samatitaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. People say, na, Prabhupada is repeating the same thing. There is so much is there to explain from what Prabhupada is telling. He is not repeating. He is every time telling something very, very more deeper points only. And here he says, Savasanatma Vishayo Aho Vikrita Shodashatam Vibrittapatna Namabhirupavedam Antarbahishtamam Chapuna Puraistanoti. Because the mind is absorbed in desires for pious and impious activities, is naturally subjected to transformation of lust and anger. In this way, it becomes attracted to material sense enjoyment. In other words, the mind is conducted by mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. There are the 11 senses, 5 material elements, and out of these 16 items, mind is the chief. Therefore, the mind brings about birth in different types of bodies among different human beings, animals, and birds. When the mind is saturated in a higher or lower position, it accepts a higher or lower material body. So this is the point here. From here onwards, actually, started talking about mind. First thing he said about mind is contaminated mind. So contaminated mind has two things. It is independent and uncontrolled. And second thing, it is absorbed in desires of pious and impious activities. So this is the effect of a contaminated mind. So we'll try to uh, see that this actually for us also it is applicable. Means not for all, for somebody who has some contamination in the mind, contaminated mind. So contaminated mind first is uncontrolled, independent, right? And here it is absorbed in desires, purpose, and impulse. And then next is subjected to transformation of lust and anger. It becomes attracted to material sense enjoyment. In other words, the mind is conducted by mode of goodness and passion. So what will happen? Attracted to sense enjoyment. Now the point is why it becomes contaminated. So this is the main question. Now we are chanting. How to come out of this contamination? Here comes the devotional duties. We have to do duty, but in a devotional way. That is the main point here. Because Vedas are also telling duty, but they are telling duty and we telling duty. The main difference is we are trying to promote a devotional duties. That is the main difference. So now Prabhupada is writing transmigration from 84 lakh species due to minds being polluted by certain material qualities. You see, our mind is made of three gunas only, sattva, rajas, tama only. How is mind? What are the elements in mind? Sattva, rajas, tamas. That's what. But what should be mind prominent of? It should be sattva. Sattva means to be situated in self. We should remove this tamas and rajas. That is pollutions. Due to mind, the soul is subjected to pious and impious activities. So more and more sattva in the mind is actually good. So anything that helps to bring our mind sattva, we have to do. So there are 10 factors which makes our mind to sattva. You all remember, we have discussed this many times. 2, 3 times we have discussed 10 factors that are affecting our mind to come to mode of goodness. So due to mind, the soul is subjected to pious and impious activities. The contamination of material existence is like the waves of material nature. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sang, Mayar Veshe Yech Veshe Kachuha Budu Bubai. My dear brother, the spirit soul is completely under the control of mind. You are being carried away by its ways. It is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashah ahankar vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. And material existence means being fully controlled by material nature. The mind is the center of for accepting the dictations of material nature. So all the problem is, see, the connection is from ego, but the controller is mind only. So that is the problem. So how the soul connected to material nature is false ego. But the operation is done by manas, by mind. You are understanding the difference? This should be clear. That's why it is considered central point. Why manas? It's an emotional state. Emotions, desires. Maybe in further classes I'll explain the connection more deeply. But Krishna Buliya se jiva anadi bahirmukha ateva maya tare deha samsara dukha. So this is the very bad news for all of us. Maya is very happily and very important. See, if you don't have authority, na, Very difficult to control mind. Practical experience. We need to have somebody above us who can tell us, who can observe us, who can correct us. Then only we can control mind. Of course, in the house, husband and wife are there for each other to correct. But they should have scriptural basis. That's why they should know the knowledge. Then they can help each other. If they read Shastra together, they can help each other. Otherwise, it is not possible. Wife and husband we can help each other only when they are reading Shastra because they will prefer Shastra in giving the advice to each other. Otherwise, then it will be Rajoguna and Tamoguna only. Material mind covering the living entity's soul carries it to different species of life. This is called continued material existence. Due to the mind, the living entity suffers or enjoys material distress and happiness. Being thus illusion, the mind further creates pious and impious activities and their karma, and thus the soul becomes conditioned. So here Prabhupada is writing mental activities under the influence of material nature causes happiness and distress within material world. This is actually a nice point. So it is not the this is called continued material existence. Why? Due to mind only. Mental activities under the influence of material nature causes happiness and distress within the material world. Why? Because of illusion. Such living entities are known as Nitya Baddha, eternally conditioned. On the whole, the mind is the cause of conditioned life. The mind is controlled. I want to make an announcement. Second, third, and fourth, from evening 4 to 6:30, Bhakti Vignan Maharaj is taking a retreat on the prayers from the bed of arrows. Very nice retreat. 3 days, second, third, and fourth. Evening 4 to 5:30. I will post the link in the group. Whoever is interested, they can join. It's online sessions. Of course, offline also, if somebody want, if they're in Vrindavan or Govardhan, they can attend, or Delhi, they can come and attend. Otherwise, they can join online sessions. This is for 3 days. Maybe it can go for 4 days also. We'll see. So this is the schedule. So please, actually very nice mm, prayers. It means nice understanding of the prayers. So I will complete few verses and then I will take question and answers. On the whole, mind is the cause of conditioned life. Therefore, the entire yogic process is meant to control the mind and senses. If mind is controlled, the senses are automatically controlled. Therefore, the soul is saved from the reactions of pious and impious activity. The mind is engaged the lotus feet of Krishna, Savai Manah Krishna Padar Vindayo. The senses are automatically engaged in Lord's service. The mind and senses are engaged in devotional service. The living entity naturally becomes Krishna conscious. As soon as one always thinks of Krishna, he becomes perfect yogi. Actually, nice connection is giving. So maybe in the end, we will try to put all the points together. Mind makes a living entity within the material world wander through different species of life. So what is the first point Jadabarth is touching? Na? He is talking about how the contaminated mind is behaving, how it is uncontrolled, how it is independent, how it is affected by pious and impious activities, attracted to sense gratification, and that is the cause of taking birth again and again. And in this shloka is telling, makes a living entity wander in the material world in different species. Thus, the living entity experience mundane affairs in different forms as a human being, demigod, fat person, skinny person. So when Ravana said, "Oh, you are thin, this, that," he said, "Arey, soul is nothing to do with it. It is all because of mind only." Learned scholars say the bodily appearance, bondage, and liberation are caused by mind. Just as mind is a cause of bondage, it can also be the cause of liberation. So manaye manashana karanam bandhamokshanam. But what we should do, mind should be engaged in Krishna service. For that we have to purify. For that we have to act properly. So a mind is engaged in matter sense that is averse or meditate. So we have to engage Savai Manaha Krishna Padara Vindayo. Proper engagement is needed. So the greatest challenge for any spiritual practitioner is how his mind is engaged, how his senses are engaged. So we have to do our family duties, everything properly, and then it is possible. I stated Narada Pancharatra, Sarvopadi Vinin Muktam. When the mind and senses are purified, when total existence is purified, once designations are purified, one no longer considers as a human being, dog, cat, animal, anything. So we just take one last verse before question answers. गुणानुरक्तं व्यसनाय जोऽन्तः जन्तो क्षेमाय निर्गुण्यमतो मनः स्यात् यथा प्रदीपो कृतवर्त्म अश्नन् शिक्षा सधा सधूमा भज इति ह अन्यदा स्वम् पदं तथा गुणा कर्णानुबन्धं वित्ते मनः श्रेयते अन्यत्र तत्त्वम्. When the living entity's mind becomes absorbed in sense gratification of material enjoyment, it brings about his conditioned life and suffering within the material situation. However, the mind becomes unattached to material enjoyment, it becomes a cause of liberation. When the flame in the lamp burns the wick improperly, the lamp is blackened. But when the lamp is filled with ghee and is burning properly, there is bright illumination. Similarly, when the mind is absorbed in material sense gratification, it causes suffering. When detached from material sense gratification, burns about the original brightness of Krishna consciousness. So, one should engage in full devotional service. That's actually the conclusion of this. Okay. We'll take questions. Any questions, comments? What is there in chat box? We'll see. Many times Ritvik preaching is also like ISKCON and Srila Prabhupada and scriptures, but difference is on the initiation process. Then why we strongly condemn them? Yeah, because they are Protestant movement in ISKCON. Protestants, they say no need of anybody between, direct we and Jesus. So this is like Protestant philosophy. So in ISKCON, Protestant philosophy is Ritvik philosophy. No need of anybody between you and Prabhupada, direct. That's why it won't work like this. I'm sorry. So there is a question. How can we balance between performing our duties in material world and performance of devotional service? So we have to do our professional and family duties as a devotion to Krishna. So this is the greatest challenge. See, it is not the activity that matters. If Krishna personally comes to you and says, my dear child, you go take, she is your wife, they are your children, and this is your job. Now what you do? You do it for me. And this is what Krishna told Arjuna. To that see, these are the soldiers and you have to take help of them and kill these enemies. For me, you do it. So activity is a very ghastly activity for Arjuna, but it became service because he wanted to please Krishna. So every day when we wake up in the morning, you sit in front of Lord, you say, my dear Lord, you gave me this house, you gave me wife, you gave me husband, you gave me children. So let me serve you, let me please you by doing proper service to them. So let me not shout on my children, wife, husband, whatever. Let me be a responsible husband, wife, son, daughter, whatever. Let me be responsible to please you. So it is ultimately for you only. I am not interested. And one fine day, make me free from all these things so that I'll completely engage in your service. Now, presently, I am not fully able to get absorption in you. That's why you gave this arrangement for me. But now let me do it with thinking about you so that in future I'll get rid of all these things and completely focus on you. So if this state is there, then it is safe and that should happen. Mhm. Eventually, we should come to a state where we are saying Krishna, okay. So then what happens? Our absorption, like say, if somebody comes and tells, Prabhuji, this is uh, my car, you can utilize for next 2 years. I know I'm going 2 years, I'll come back. So now 2 years you are properly taking care of it. Always conscious that that car does not belong to you, but you can, they are giving a house to stay. They say, okay, this is the house for you, you can stay. I am staying in the house for 2 years. Uh, so the place where we are staying, it belongs to some devotees. We know it does not belong to us, but all the facilities we are utilizing, everything we are utilizing, we are conscious that it belongs to Krishna. So then no entanglement. Family life can be done very nicely without entanglement. What comes now, the ego starts accepting things, this is mine. We start connecting the object with our own self. There the problem starts. When we Ishavashamidam sarvam yatkinchit jagatyam tena tektvena bunjita. Krishna is telling it belongs to me only. I gave you some quota for some time. But if you are trying to encroach on that property, you say my, you are putting your board, your name in front of the house, our name is there. No, it is Krishna's house. If you try to encroach on your the property, claiming proprietorship, see such a big house, it's all mine. This family is mine. Then you'll have problem and very heavy problem. So much pain. Why did Krishna do this to me? Why did he take away my wife? Why did he take away my husband? Why did he take away this? Why did he take away this? Array, it is never yours. He just gave for some time and is taking back. You only are trying to enjoy it thinking it is mine. And now you cannot blame Krishna. You falsely proprated over it and then now you are blaming Krishna for it. You should be grateful that he gave at least for some time that property for you to be with. Instead of being grateful that Krishna gave me this for some time, you are blaming that why did he take? Is there any justification? How can people are playing victim, game? That is not fair. Krishna feels, array, they are not acknowledging what I gave. Instead, they are blaming me for what when I take it back. And Krishna has to take it back to make us remind that it was never ours. So unfortunately, we are so much engrossed in it. The ego is so much infuriated. The more we accumulate, the more ego increases, and more we think it is mine, and we enjoy and we prove to people, see how great I am, how successful I am, how big I am. And then you fight for it, you become envious and this, that, and so many we do. And then finally Krishna tells, Array, I thought it will help you all this property and all these things. Somehow it is not helping you. I'll take it back. And then we start crying. Array, why did I lose it? Why did I lose it? Because you misused it. That's why. If you are given, you understand, you acknowledge, even if it is taken, you does not mind because it was never ours. So this body, this house, this family, when was it ours? It was never ours. So we are in a foolish illusion. That's actually what Jadabarth is telling Ravaguna. So this is a different. Uh, so how to do our duties? Yeah, do your duties. Isha Vashamidam. Why Prabhupada took very great effort to translate that book because that is giving a very clear understanding. Ishopanishad is such an important book to understand. I know Ishavashamidam Sarvam Yatkinchit Tena Tektena Bunjita. Such a nice. I took one Bhakti Shastri class on means whole book I completed in one Bhakti Shastri. I don't know the recordings where they are, but maybe in future we should have some discussions on this. So it helps actually to get a proper understanding what Upanishads are teaching, how to live. So anyway, I don't want to be more heavy. I'm sorry. Any questions? Are we land here? Yes, Umakantu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
So question means we have a request only. Evening, we are missing your Telugu classes.
Yeah, I'll start, bro. I'm sorry.
Telugu classes 7 to 7:30. It has become like uh, a habit for us that 7:30 we'll attend one Telugu class. But I know.
Okay, bro. I'll start. I'll start.
Anyhow, so there are some qualities of Lord Krishna. You know, the 64 qualities are there in Krishna. We already
Yes.
discussed that. You know that, and 60 qualities are there for Lord Narayana, and
Yeah.
55 qualities are there for Lord Shiva, and
Yeah.
50 qualities are there for the most exalted devotees to the
Yeah.
Jiva. Maybe okay.
Yeah.
So one of the qualities is of Lord Krishna is forgiveness, Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Forgiveness. So forgiveness is forgiveness, humbleness, affectionate, motherly, motherly affection. Everything is there in the Lord. And if you look at the motherly affection of the Lord, it is 10. It is compared to that 10 million mothers. So it is
Yeah.
equal to 1 crore mothers. Okay.
Yeah.
So my question is that while killing the demons, okay, like Trinavarta and Kamsa and a lot of asuras, Raghasura, lot of asuras are there, and even Putana was there. And so, what kind of attitude does Lord carry with his mind while he is actually killing these demons? Actually, so when we say forgiveness, if I want to give a slap to somebody, I would never, in a mood of forgiving them. Actually, I'll be in a mood of hitting them only. But how Lord maintains the mood of forgiveness also at the same time, he also wants to be merciful with with the demon. So that is, I was always trying to understand this aspect of Lord, where he is expressing so many qualities which are sometimes quite opposite to each other. Like,
Yeah.
like he is okay. I can understand. Within case of Pandavas, he was empowering Pandavas. Like he empowered Arjuna to win the war. Okay, but if you look at, and also he empowered Bhima to kill some of the asuras like Bakasura and all. That
Yeah.
is different. Empowering somebody is different. Okay, he can empower the devotee, but he himself sometimes go and performs the killing of the demons. But at the same time, he's also referred to as affectionate mother, which is very 1 crore mothers. At the same
Yeah.
time, he's forgiving, but at the same time, punishing is also there. So how he's doing and managing between these two contradictory emotions. So this is what I'm trying to understand, Prabhuji. Once we were coming in the evening class, that I would have asked there. But you're not coming. We're missing Prabhuji.
Yes. Well said.
Okay, okay.
So here, na, the point is, Lord is even punishing. We cannot understand the heart of Lord, but we can understand something. Like if mother sometimes she chastises and punishes the child. So she is doing out of affection and love only. So when mother is punishing the child, we cannot say that she does not love. She is her love for child is always there. When the child is mischievous or when the child is doing good activity anytime, the love does not diminish. What happens is her love is manifested in different ways. Sometimes as chastisement, sometimes as punishment, sometimes as some giving, showing some kindness and all. So for Lord, all are same only because when Rama is telling, no, Sakrit eva prapannoyam tavasmi. So he says that even once somebody comes and says, I surrender unto you, Daram etad vratam mama. He says that I will give him full protection. Even Ravana comes also, I'll give protection. So if he's really upset, he would not have said that. So he's telling even Ravana comes for me, not a problem. I can forgive him also. So his killing of demons is not out of envy or anything. He's out of love only. But his love is manifested differently based on How ye ataman prapadyante. So that he wanted to help that living entity all the time. He want to help only. So he knows that this body, this fellow is becoming too envious. It is not good for him to have this body. So let me help him free from his karma. So whenever Lord kills the demons, especially when Krishna gives, they all get liberation. They are permanently purified from all the contamination from all the lifetimes. So who can give liberation? Krishna gives liberation when he kills. So all the battlefield, even if devotees of Krishna kill somebody, they get liberated. Like Arjuna killed, everybody got liberated because they were Krishna is in front of them. He made them liberated. So the point is that for yogis and all, they are practicing for so long to get liberation, but Krishna is doing it very instantly for demons. So it's affection only. So his affection manifests differently, which we cannot understand, but ultimately it is affection. Yes, bro. Vrindavan Gopal. Bro.
Right. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for such a nice discussion. So, Prabhuji, so you were telling regarding to like how the minds get contaminated and affected. So in that discussion, you were telling there are some 10 factors are there on which the state of mind is there, depend. So, Prabhuji, can you just elaborate it? Which are those 10 factors?
Yeah, we discussed this few times previously. So the 10 factors are: first is water, second is uh, the place, the time, and the what do you say, association, the books we read, the
Oh,
mantra we chant, and but this is actually in the 11th canto of
yeah,
Bhagavatam.
it's Hamsa Griha prayer may what that mentioned that 10 thing. Agama, Prasadeshu and all that,
Ah,
right?
yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, I brought you one more question I had is regarding yesterday's things. So in regarding that Arthavada, so you're mentioning like whenever a devotee is also they do some kind of vrata. So specifically, I have question related to as a devotees we also do sometimes Nirjala Ekadashi, right, and following Bhishma Panchaka vrata to advance in spiritual life. So is this also kind of Arthavad or what like?
No, Prabhu. Actually, the motivation makes it so much difference. It's not
Mhm.
the action. So now you want to please Krishna, that's why you are doing Nirjal. You want to chant more rounds and get more absorption in Krishna if you are doing Bhishma Pancha. It is very much devotional and it is recommended also to do these things. It's not the activity, it's the motivation. So what happens if you are not doing it as a ritual, that's not a problem. Problem is they do it as a ritual. There the problem comes.
And when we'll be doing such a austerity or samrita, what should be the proper consciousness we should have? Like,
Yeah, I want to get absorption in Krishna. That's
Mhm.
simple.
Okay.
You want to get absorption and you are doing it.
Thank you, Bruji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. So something in chat box. Uh, as you have mentioned that we have to be attached to someone so we can serve and advance in bhakti, but sometimes familiarity leads to seeing faults, which is material propensity, and we are unable to tolerate after some extremities. In such a case, how we should keep our enthusiastic. Yeah, this is the challenge. We have to see that everybody is trying to serve Krishna at their capacities. That is the most important aspect for us to look at, and that's what we should appreciate in that person. So materially, he may have some faults, and but Krishna does not take them seriously. So we should also not take them seriously. What we should take seriously is that they are serving Krishna with their energy, full mind, heart. We should also try to do it. And that's the inspiration we can take from all the devotees. The devotional aspect they have. They want to chant nicely, they want to hear, they want to sing, they want to do something for Krishna. Even the uh, 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 even Ritviks also, they also want to serve Krishna. Of course, they are doing in a little wrong way, mischievous way. But still that quality in them also should be appreciated. That's what I am telling. So when we start looking at that part, that means we are associating with that aspect of that person. So we have to associate with the devotional aspect of a person, then anytime we can take inspiration from anyone. So, okay. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. कंतना श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिल प्रभुपाद की जय।